Forgive you for not seeing the immediate connection between why me working as a projectionist has anything to do with OpenAI's move into creating adult content. So when I was 18, I worked as a Fight Club style projectionist, working on 35mm film, running a 9-screen cinema, working 15-hour shifts in a windowless box by myself, just about as digital technology was coming in to replace that role. But while I was taking my training, I learned a lot about the history of cinema and how immersive technology really evolves. It comes as no surprise to me why organizations like OpenAI are drifting towards adult content. When you get into the history of immersive technology, you realize that early film was not bankrolled by creative angels with monocles. It survived on whatever filled seats and paid lab bills. Adult theaters brought in substantial cash, which funded projectors, cameras, film stock, and distribution. The same pattern shows up with every immersive medium. When immersion jumps, the adult industry pressure tests it first, because money moves fastest there. You can see this in your everyday life. One of the reasons you have VHS tapes and it beat out Betamax tape is largely because the adult industry had it as its preferred format and the market followed. You can see this with all sorts of technological development. GoPros, VR, AR, deepfakes, robotics, all have been pulled forward where pay demand was the hottest. AI is now on that road too. Let's create some scale here. The digital adult content economy is vast. It dwarfs many creative sectors. Estimates for the global adult content market range widely from like 66 billion to 288 billion. And by contrast, the global record music revenues are about 29.6 billion, with streaming around 20.4 billion. So I'm not going to insult anyone's intelligence by pretending that the adult industry and digital content in that space is niche and underground. I want to avoid moral grandstanding on this. I have personal views, but if we lead with that kind of judgment, we make the topic taboo. And taboo blocks education. You cannot help people to navigate the complex digital world if you refuse to talk about its realities. When we ignore it, people are more susceptible to the harms, and people need practical skills to move safely through these online spaces. There are plenty of other generative AI companies that work within the space that OpenAI is moving into. For example, Replica offered intimate AI companionships long before OpenAI got involved. But here's the thing, when regulation changed and erotic chat features were restricted, many users became distressed, akin to going through a breakup in their own words. Think about it like this. People can form parasocial bonds with pretty much anything, and when it comes to AI companions, a sudden policy change can change the way that the AI responds to people, and that might feel like a partner's behavior is changing. That is kind of a warning. If people build parasocial bonds with AI companions, sudden policy swings can really hit people's mental well-being. This year also brought a great example when it came to the launch of ChatGPT 5, a model that was made to be safer by being less agreeable and not feeding delusional behaviors. Many users, when it came out, really didn't like it. So OpenAI had to bring back the previous model, ChatGPT 4.0, which has a high level of agreeableness and has led to the coining of the term ChatGPT psychosis. It's really not that surprising, given that parasocial bonds with AI reflect the individual, and it has no competing wants or desires of its own. It is available on demand, any device, anywhere, without any complexity to it. We are in the midst of a loneliness epidemic where communities have been systemically dismantled. It does not surprise me that people have looked for alternatives to meet their need for connection. And I can say this from an anecdotal perspective as well. When I give keynotes on the future of AI, someone always approaches me after to talk about their concerns that they have about a friend who has become emotionally attached to a generative AI companion. Tech does not move at the speed of purity tests. It moves by demand signals. Let's be honest about where those signals come from, who benefits, who pays, who's put at risk, and what rules we need to set next. I'm not here to be a moral arbitrator or to judge. I want to keep the conversation open and reduce harm. If we turn this into a taboo topic, we increase the chance of silent damage. I'm not willing to do that. It's a nuanced topic, so let's have a nuanced conversation about it.